Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, the controversy over fracking in the United States. The oil business generates over $150 billion a year. But there's a crisis caused by overproduction. The price per barrel has plummeted. This has meant closures and job losses. Fracking has been both a blessing and a curse. And add to that the environmental concerns due to the process of drilling. More and more people are now questioning the wisdom of the whole process. Our reports by Neibi Reynoso, Valérie Defer and Alexis Oron.
On this Saturday, Bakersfield is holding a traditional dirt-modified car race. Driving car number one is local figure, modified national champion Scott Pounds.
I'm 57 years old and I started when I was 15. So I've been racing for 42 years.
But in the past months, Scott has seen the speedway clear out little by little.
If you look back 2 years ago, we'd have probably 30, 35 cars in my division, and there's been nights we've had 15, 16 cars, and it went by the wayside because of the oil crisis. And like I say, a lot of people that do what we do just can't afford it no more, you know.
In Bakersfield, California, where everybody works directly or indirectly in the oil industry, the energy crisis is hitting the community hard. That night, Scott Pounds won the race once again. When he's not on a speedway, Scott steers this drilling rig. He produces 500 barrels of oil per day, but with the price down 70%, it's difficult to stay profitable.
We probably have a good 15, 20% of our wells that are down now that it just isn't economically fit to produce. It costs us money to produce it.
1/3 of the staff has been laid off. To keep his job, Scott has had to make sacrifices, like taking a 20% pay cut.
It's not an easy job. We earn every penny that we make. There's a lot of companies that's folded up and went bankrupt. We hear on a regular basis of cutbacks and people losing their jobs. And
Kern County has long been the top oil producer in the country. Here, oil wells are spread out as far as the eye can see.
She was born in Central California.
Until 2014, the price of a barrel was over $100, and oil companies were pumping relentlessly. But today, almost half of Bakersfield's population is out of work. Those that still have a job are up early. They meet at 5 a.m. at this popular Bakersfield diner. It used to be difficult to get a table at Pappy's. Not anymore. Robin and Kyle both work for a transportation company. In the last few months, business from oil companies has been cut in half.
Well, with Chevron itself, we're running probably 50% less than we did.
The guys went from earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in the oil field to $50,000 a year.
At Pappy's, the oil industry story is written on the walls. From the black gold rush of the 1900s to the boom years of the George W. Bush presidency. This is a Republican bastion, but there's little optimism about the likely outcome of November's presidential election.
We got the worst presidential election I've ever seen. We got Hillary, who's, I'll go ahead and say it, that is one cold-hearted woman. You can see it in her eyes. Trump may be able to straighten out the economy a little bit, but he's a loose cannon.
If you're gonna lead my country, if you're gonna say it's free, you're gonna need a little honesty.
To better understand the extent of this oil crisis, we went to Oklahoma. With the development of hydraulic fracturing or fracking, oil production in the U.S. has increased by 75% in only 10 years. It now produces 9 million barrels per day and imports just 25% of its oil. That is contributing to a global glut. Darlene Wallace is a former flight attendant who became an oil producer. After her husband died, Darlene became the CEO of Columbus Oil. The family-owned company owns about 30 wells in the region. This one needs repairs.
When oil was down to $30 a barrel, I had to shut some of my wells down because the lifting cost was probably $40 or $45 a barrel to get it out.
Despite that, everyone is trying to put on a brave face.
Hey guys, how's it going? Oil business is cyclic, and hopefully, you know, it's kind of stabilizing at 40 to 45 right now, dollars a barrel.
Right.
But at least we still have jobs, huh?
Right. Get up every day and come to work. That's all it counts.
Since 2008, Oklahoma increased its production thanks to fracking, which allows oil to be released from deep beneath the Earth's surface. But it is a very sophisticated and costly technique that only major corporations can afford.
It costs a lot more to drill them, and if they have a mortgage on that well, they are paying the debt off as well as trying to make the company money. So a lot of horizontal wells have been shut down. A lot of people are going bankrupt.
Month after month, Darlene Wallace has seen her colleagues close down their companies. In the U.S., about 1/3 of oil producers are at high risk of slipping into bankruptcy.
Here in Oklahoma City, this is an oil and gas auction that all these wells that are listed are going up for auction because of all the bankruptcies. We used to only get these like once a year. Now you're seeing them every 3 or 4 months.
For Darlene Wallace, the restrictions imposed by the Obama administration have made things worse. And she feels that Donald Trump is the only candidate capable of reaching the ultimate goal, total energy independence.
He's who I have to choose from. The other person is another 4 years of that man. And this country can't take that. This country can't take putting this energy out of business. They did it to the coal industry already, and now they're trying to do it to the oil industry. But what we're trying to do in America is to become independent from needing Middle Eastern oil.
Thanks to fracking.
Well, it is. No fracking. It's horizontal. No, but it's horizontal drilling and fracking. That's what is what's making this come about. And fracking's not as bad as everybody says it is.
But the boom in shale oil has come at an environmental cost. Jefferson Chang is a seismologist. With the help of his student, he installs seismic detectors in the region to record tremors. In Oklahoma, the number of earthquakes have multiplied by 200% in only 8 years.
We went from, again, dozens, maybe 35 to maybe 100 per year before 2008. And last year we had about 28,000 detected.
Scientists confirm that there is a correlation between oil production in the region and the increase in the number of earthquakes. And whether it's fracking or conventional oil drilling, the amount of wastewater generated is also causing concern. For every barrel of oil produced, 10 barrels of water are extracted and then re-injected into the ground using high-pressure techniques.
The leading theory is that the wastewater injection is causing some sort of effect down underground, and it's inducing these seismicity. So more production means more wastewater. If they frack, they get a lot more area to suck the product out of, and that means more product, more water. It means more disposal.
Johnny Bryan's family has been in livestock farming for 3 generations. On September 3rd, Oklahoma had its strongest earthquake in its recorded history, 5.8 on the Richter scale. At 7 a.m., Johnny's house began to shake.
It was like a Huey helicopter inside the house. It was just, and it wasn't going to stop. And I didn't, we've had earthquakes, but nothing like this. It just kept it going. I kind of got to watch on it. Kind of my grandkids come out here. I don't want them to get around this thing. And all these loose rocks. I'm just going to go ahead and let that go down.
With his lawyer and dozens of other residents in the region, Johnny has filed a class action lawsuit to ask for compensation from the oil industry.
The industry has been fighting to say, one, they didn't cause the problem, two, the science isn't there, when in reality it really is there. And so far right now the industry has said it's not our problem. Now all that our homeowners want is for the industry to be a good neighbor.
Yeah, some wall damage in here.
For Oklahoma residents, it has become a daily routine. As the earth shakes, Johnny's wife monitors the tremors on her smartphone.
The 143 one was a 3.2.
Okay, because it's the one.
That one. And then there was a 130, there was a 2.3 one.
So how many in a 24-hour period?
Well, there was 17 in a 48-hour period. I've lived here all my life, 71 years. It has become a way of living, yes it has. And when I was a little girl, we did not feel earthquakes. Nor when I was a teenager. Not until the last 5 years have we started feeling earthquakes.
More than 7 million Americans are threatened by man-made earthquakes in states with high oil production, like Colorado and North Dakota. Following these earthquakes, the government of Oklahoma ordered to close down dozens of disposal wells, such as this one. Another hard hit for the oil industry because each disposal well is connected to several oil wells.
You can feel, earthquake that they had over Labor Day, they shut in 27 disposal wells. And I have a friend who has 2 disposal wells in that area, and it shut down 8 wells for his 2 disposals, which shut down a lot of production.
The Democrats are promoting renewable energy, but Darlene says it's too expensive to operate. She's counting on the foreign exchange markets to stay profitable. Because for the first time in 40 years, the U.S. is exporting oil again, giving her a way to sell her excess supply and satisfy the insatiable thirst for oil of emerging countries.
Our reporter Neibe Reynoso joins us now by satellite. Neibe, oil has hardly been mentioned by the 2 presidential candidates thus far, but clearly it's a big issue. Where do the 2 candidates stand?
What we've seen during this presidential election is that both candidates have clashed on the issue of energy. On the one hand, the Republican nominee, Donald Trump, wants the United States to achieve complete energy independence by using American energy resources with methods such as fracking, offshore oil drilling, and also using federal land to produce energy. He says this will create millions of jobs and also improve the economy. But on the other hand, Hillary Clinton has a completely different point of view. She says that she wants the United States to become a clean energy superpower. She's already proposed a $60 billion clean energy challenge proposal. She says that this will reduce the use of oil consumption by 1/3 through the use of clean fuels like the renewables such as water, solar, and wind.
Neibe, we heard about the risk to the environment and, of course, the financial effects. Do these factors mean that fracking itself might be stopped?
Well, fracking has definitely slowed down, but this may change depending on the outcome of the election. Donald Trump supports fracking because this is one way that the United States can achieve total energy independence. But Hillary Clinton wants to impose more restrictions on fracking. Fracking also faces resistance by environmentalists because seismologists have found a correlation between earthquakes and fracking. Other research has also said that fracking can contaminate underground water supplies. A lot of the people in the oil industry that we interviewed say they support Trump because the oil industry, according to them, is not dying, but that the restrictions imposed upon them by the current administration have worsened the situation. They are certain that the United States will need fossil fuels for at least another century.
Now, Ibe, the US is once more the world's premier oil producer, energy independence. You were just talking about it. It's a byword for the politicians. So what are the consequences of this?
The U.S. hasn't achieved complete energy independence, but they are getting close. For example, in 2015, they imported only 24% of their oil. That's the lowest since 1970, because only 10 years ago, they were importing 60% of their oil. Some analysts say that by 2020, the United States will only need to import 11% of its oil. And this has economical and geopolitical implications because this can translate to foreign policy flexibility, especially with Middle Eastern countries that are big oil producers, because they are more susceptible to geopolitical disruptions. It's important to note that for the first time in 40 years, the U.S. Congress has lifted the ban on exporting U.S. oil. And this could open up the doors for the United States to be able to export oil for emerging countries that are big fossil fuel users.
Ibe Reynoso, thank you very much indeed. Thank you and the team for that report. And thank you for watching this Reporters program. You'll see it again via our website, france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.